Welcome to the Black Access Club podcast. My name is Sakudini. I am the host, and today I have with me Curtis.
Curtis.
All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Curtis.
So, hi, my name is Curtis May. I'm from I'm from Philadelphia. I live just outside of Philadelphia. And I'm the host of the Practical Wealth Show podcast.
Is that practical?
Practical
Okay.
Wealth Show, right? And I'm a financial strategist and what I call principles-based financial planner of Practical Wealth Solutions is our company. And I teach people how money works. I teach melanated people, everybody really, okay? But I tell people I'm black. I just happen to know a lot of black people, you know. And our reach is kind of national in the U.S. So we have a kind of a national audience of clients that we work with in probably about 25, 30 states.
Okay. So tell us a little more about your podcast.
So the theme of my show, it's a couple theme and an underlying theme, but the theme of the show is wealth without Wall Street, basically. And so I'm kind of known as the anti-Wall Street financial advisor. Okay. Long story short, I was kind of like, for y'all familiar with this, Dave Ramsey on steroids. The first 15 years of my career, I read a little purple book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I realized a lot of what I was teaching didn't gel with that. And, you know, my family had always been self-employed. So what he was talking about reflected more of what I saw my dad doing.
Okay.
And so I didn't get it all right away. So it was a little bit of a journey. And but that's, so I talk about that. I try to get people that I know will never hear about the stuff I'm talking about unless they hear it from me. Like, you know, they're not going to get this stuff. They're going to get, you know, put money in a mutual fund, max out your 401k. They're going to get the basic stuff. And really, I want to show them there's other ways to approach this. I actually tell them it really doesn't work, you know. And so our message is really more, one of the things that we always say in our business is investing is not about buying something. It's about becoming something. So? Well, it's be, become, then do, then have. So what we teach, I teach something called the 3 rules of investing. So the first rule is invest in what you know, or invest in knowing, okay? Invest in what you can control or influence the outcome of, and don't chase returns, okay? Most people are chasing returns, and what they think is investing is not really investing. So you've heard of Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever heard of Benjamin Graham?
No.
Most people haven't. So that was Warren Buffett's mentor.
Okay.
And so he says, so this is I have no original thoughts, just so y'all know, right? So him and Charlie Munger are both Graham value investors. So he says, he taught in his first chapter of his book, Speculating versus Investing. And he's talking about the stock market. Okay, which is interesting. He says an investment is something you put your money into where your principal is safe. That means if you put in 10 grand, you're supposed to get back 10 grand. That's your principal. Your principal is safe, okay? And you have a reasonable opportunity to make a profit. It says if it doesn't meet that definition, you are speculating, okay? So now if you hold that definition up to what Wall Street is telling people to do, are they investing? Not really. They're speculating. Okay, and I don't really I do have a problem with speculating, but I have a problem with people speculating who don't know they're speculating, and they think they're saving because they change the vocabulary and they say save for retirement, your 401k, but you're not saving.
Right.
Saving is having no risk, right? So all your money's at risk.
Yeah. And
so I don't like that. So I get kind of pissed off about it, as you can tell, I get a little hype. Because I think that people are betting their life on something. 95% of the people are betting their life on something that probably won't work out. Mathematically, it's just not going to work. You can't put enough money away. And for most people that are working, what is the number? It's like I want to say 80% of households make less than $100,000 a year.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, and so you can't put enough money away for you to have. So if you make let's say you want to replace your income. If you had
you would never have enough money to make 100 grand. Is that what you're trying to say? I think
they're not saving any money.
Right.
So at best they're saving 10%, maybe 15%, but the rate and that's not saving, first of all. Let's go back to my original premise. But most people are putting away money at a rate of, savings rate in the U.S. right now is less than 5%.
Okay.
And so you would need $1 million. If you had $1 million, let's put it this way. If you had $1 million in the stock market and mutual funds, and the safe withdrawal rate is like 4%, that's $40,000.
Yeah.
So you don't even have half your income, and you're putting money away in a market that's going up and down in saving dollars, which the longer that you hold them, do they buy more or less? Less,
Yeah.
right? Because the purchasing power is dropping,
Right.
and you're deferring taxes. And I ask my clients, do you think in the future will taxes be higher
Or lower.
or lower or the same?
It's gonna be higher.
They're going to be higher, right? So, it's all that stuff. So it's like all those moving parts. Hard. It's just a lot of moving parts there that people aren't aware, and they've been trained not to think. Don't just give your money to us. You don't have to worry about it. We'll take care of you.
Right.
And it's just all, think of where else that's worked in your life, where you don't have to study, you don't have to prepare, you don't have to think about what you're doing, you don't have to get good at what you're doing. That doesn't work anywhere. So it definitely doesn't work with money.
Right.
That's why I say it's about becoming. You have to learn if you want to become a good business owner. Why are we here at this podcast event? So we can become good podcasters, good, as business owners, right? If you want to be a real estate investor, most of my people are becoming real estate investors. They have to learn how to find the properties and do the numbers and all that kind of stuff. Because the four things you can invest in are business, real estate, what I call paper. And so when people think of paper, they think mutual funds but paper is private. I got clients that do private lending. I got clients that buy notes. I got clients that buy, what do they call it, tax liens.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff. So it's just stuff out there that a lot of them are safer. They pay higher rates of return. Some things you got to qualify to put your money into. But but once you start looking for it, you'll see it. And if you need to qualify, once you kind of know the rules and the game, you can put yourself in a position to get in that game. And that's what I like to share.
All right. So let's just clarify. You don't recommend investing in the stock market. You recommend investing in businesses or other things of that nature.
I don't recommend anything because it's not my job to tell you what to become.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is I don't say not invest in the stock market. What I'm against is not knowing what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay? Because I have people that trade options and that kind of stuff, and they make money. I have people that trade crypto. I don't like crypto that much. But they're trading crypto and they're making money but they've spent time and money learning how to trade.
Yeah.
Going to Amsterdam, going to crypto seminars.
Yes.
And so again, you'll find a pattern over and over again is that they spent time and money learning how to be in control of their situation. So and see, the funny thing is when you want to talk about investing, people worry about investing. I teach 5 principles of personal finance. Guess which principle investing is?
The last one.
Yes.
So you have to know how to save in order to invest.
Yes.
You have to know how to manage your money and budget.
Yes.
In order to invest.
So I teach that first, right? Is save. Then you got to protect what you're building, insurances and asset protection. And, so my second principle I teach is maximum protection. First one is save 15-20% of your gross income. Okay. Second one is protect. The third is legacy. We teach forward placement of assets at death, so you can leave a legacy of wealth and wisdom, right? My fourth principle is liquidity, right? I want 6 to 12 months. That doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but I want 6 to 12 months of your income liquid in cash equivalent accounts.
With that, when you say income, do you include all your expenses?
Gross income.
Gross income.
Some people say, it depends on a person. I will say, the goal is, let's talk about the goal. The goal is for you to become financially free.
Yeah.
So I teach principles that help our clients to become and remain financially free. Okay, meaning you can live like you want to live from the income from your personally invested assets.
Right.
Okay. So now once you decide that, okay, that's what I want to do, then because most what people are taught to do aren't designed to provide income. So I have a couple I was working with last week, and they're putting all this money into 401ks, right? And but they're working on 2 triplexes they're trying to complete, and they don't have any money. They have like $5,000 in the bank.
They're putting too much into the 401k.
Yes.
Versus they could be putting that into that complex that they're building.
Well, no, I want them to save it. Well, I teach another strategy. This is another thing, but I teach a strategy called infinite banking. So I use our clients save in properly structured dividend-paying whole life, and then they collateralize or borrow against their insurance, and they use it to buy assets, but their money is still working in 2 places because it's in the asset you bought and it's still in the insurance making money.
Right.
So that gives you more efficiency because your money's doing more than one job at the time. But I didn't even get there with them. I was like, I just need you saving. You don't have any money, okay? And so, because what I do is different. Is I don't expect people to be able to, if I have 15% they can save, I find the money, okay? I help people find money that they're losing unnecessarily. So most time it's lost by how they manage cash flow or don't manage cash flow. Might be better way to say, or budget or whatever. And then we look at the areas, it's like 20, but the top areas where people are just giving money away, how they pay their mortgages. So making extra payments and 15-year mortgage and try to pay your mortgage off early. All that's complete waste of money.
You think so?
I know so.
So even if you do like principal payments on the principal. So you save $10,000 to $15,000 and you pay that on your loan. That'll make sense.
So let me ask you a question: does saving money in interest make you money?
No, but it saves you time.
How? Save you time for what?
It saves me time of I don't have to worry about this bill for so much longer.
Okay, so. Are you familiar with the term opportunity cost?
No.
So that's what they don't teach in personal finance. So what's the rate of return on equity in a house?
Slow.
0.
Okay.
0. So equity has no rate of return. So when you're paying extra on the mortgage, because what people don't look at it right is your house. I'm stepping on a lot of toes, but that's like a sacred cow. But in this environment, so you got to know how money works. Okay. So first principle is that because of inflation, your dollar will never be worth more than it is today.
Yes.
Well, don't you think banks know that? So why would you give them your more valuable because that's why they make you think, oh, we don't want you, you're going to save money in paying off your mortgage early, right? But what you're doing for the bank is creating velocity. You're giving them your money back faster so they can do what?
Get more loans.
Loan it back out to somebody else, right? And when you pay extra on the mortgage, because what people do, they see the house as the asset, especially real estate investors. I got to get this across to real estate investors, but the banks see the house as collateral. Their asset is the mortgage, is the note, right? So when you pay extra,
you're giving them more.
Yeah, so you're strengthening their position and making it easier for you to be foreclosed on. Okay. See, so really what you want to do is if you've got extra money, you should save it. Okay. We save it in our banking strategy, but just save it because if you look at it, because I want you to be debt free. I just want you to get there. I want you to be mortgage free. But see, to me, if you've got let's say you have a mortgage balance of $100,000 and you've got a cash of $100,000, you're debt free as far as I'm concerned. That's a balance sheet neutral decision. A corporation would look at that and they would, consider themselves debt free. They would not pay the mortgage off.
Okay.
Right? Rich people use money as debt as money.
Yes, they do.
So we're still stuck in because why are you saving debt? The Federal Reserve is a debt. You're saving notes. Debt, paper. It doesn't mean anything. So they use that to buy. Listen, I'm a big fan of Kiyosaki, and he'll say he'll buy apartment buildings with other people's money. He takes it depreciation. So he refinances. That money comes out tax-free, so they don't pay taxes.
Right.
But it's not that they're doing anything wrong. I said, you don't know the game.
Just working the system.
Just working the system. So don't hate the player, hate the game, because the tax code, I'm actually studying within about 90 days from this, I'll have a tax planning added to my financial practice, right?
Okay.
And, but I know some of it, but now I'm like really digging in because I want to help my clients win the war against the IRS. And but following the rules, right? Because the tax code, I was at a conference with Tom Wheelwright, which is Robert Kiyosaki's accountant. He's got a great book called Tax-Free Wealth. And he says that the tax code is another word for map. and it's a treasure map. So it's a stimulus program. So the government can't take all your money. So what they have to do, they put incentives to get you to do what they want you to do, which is provide jobs. Who provides jobs? Businesses. That's why you get a tax break, right?
Yeah.
Provide housing. So who provides housing? Real estate investors, right? Food.
Grocery
and energy.
stores
So you
and
invest in oil and gas. So what happens is if you put your money where the government needs help, they'll reward you by a tax break. So they're incenting you. So if you just work a job, you're the highest tax. Because you're,
Yeah, so taking the most away from people.
Yeah, and so you have to learn the game. So our tax code, this is what melanated people don't understand. Let's go there for a second, right? Is that the tax code is for landowners and business owners. But we're taught, go to school, get education, get a good job, right? Go to school, go into debt. Who owns the debt? The government owns all the student loan debt. Get a job so you can make more money, which means you can be taxed because W-2 people are the highest tax. So it's like a trap because you don't understand the game.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Okay, that's dope. Like, honestly, I don't even know what to say because you just threw so much information at me.
I'm sorry.
And it's information that I
talking to me is like
well.
Drinking through a fire hose.
It's okay though. So, what would you say to? Okay, let's go back to the saving point, right? The saving and your expenses and stuff like that. So me personally, I want to say 8 to 10 months worth of expenses saved.
That's awesome.
So should I go try and get that to income versus expenses? Because my income is a lot more than my expenses. If that makes sense.
It's whatever you're comfortable with. If you got 8 months, that means you could work. If you lost your job, you could live with 8 months without a sweat.
Without income.
That's what I want.
Right.
Okay. Different people measure them. In our process, we just say income because I have a software, like I create a one-page financial plan for people.
Okay.
But what I teach is this. So you want to get into, you can't save your way to financial freedom, right? So what I want is, at a minimum, I want like 3 months the 3 months is your emergency fund. So I don't want people to dip below that. So, life happens and you want to have money for COVID happens, you got to have money. And everything above that is your opportunity fund to deploy your capital to buy or build assets that generate cash flow. So you can't just leave money sit. So past that point, you've got to learn.
So past the 3 months.
Yeah, past the 3 months, then that's money for opportunities. Okay. Researched opportunities that you understand, okay, become, invest in what you know or invest in knowing. So that might be going to a mastermind. It doesn't, most people want to throw money at stuff, but you don't know anything. So you're going to lose money because you're speculating, because you don't know anything. That's the definition of speculating, hoping market goes up, right? Okay. And so I teach people to invest in them. I had a client, she's a therapist. And she's like, oh, I want to buy apartment buildings. I want to do this and that. She's all over the place. I said, look, are you saving 50% of your income? So I got her doing that. I teach people because here's a tip.
That's 15 on the annual or monthly?
Monthly. So what I'll do is I'll say, let's say she was making like 115,000, but let's say 100 just for round numbers. So I want you to save 15,000 at least, or more. Don't let my minimums be your maximum. So so she had a job. So what I do is I take the 15. I said, let's divide it by 26. Which is like, I think $576 a pay.
So why 26?
Because most people get paid 26 times.
Okay.
So if you get paid semi-monthly, I would say 24. If you get weekly, that would divide it by 52. So I want to make it palatable, right? Because savings has to be automatic and systematic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, are you go to HR, or go into your app with your job? If you have a job, if you're in business, then I make people do it off their gross, and they're going to have to do it manually. Okay, but what you do is now you create a wealth, we call it a wealth capture account. So you have an account just for wealth building, where you pay yourself first. Separate from your bill money, I teach people to have 4 different accounts. You have an income account, you've got a fixed bill account, you got a variable bill account, and you've got your wealth capture account. And so you pay yourself first, and then you make it a bill, and then from that money, then what you want to do is you want to deploy capital into things that bring you a check. Not when you're 59,
Right.
Now, I want you out the rat race in 10 years.
Right.
Okay, so you have to think about money differently where you want to be controlled. I always tell people when I'm on shows like this, I'll say, if you don't want to think and you love Dave Ramsey or Susie, and you just want to put your money away, you just want to work and not think about it, don't call me. I can't help you, okay? Because the people that work with Curtis, they want work. Their goal is work optional income, right? And they know they need access to their capital. All of my clients know they can make their money make more money than S&P themselves, right? Their business. You put $1 in your business, you make $2. That's 100%.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so, but most typical advice teaches try to get business owners to send money away from their business and give it to some fund manager they never met.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, right? And so why they like me, because I grew up, I'm a second generation business owner, that I get that, right? And so I said, you need to store capital where you have access to it, because you can hire a new person, you know, you can buy equipment, you can, you know, you should be buying stuff outside the business, like real estate or whatever, you know, and so that you want to become financially independent, even independent from the business. Right. And so that's the kind of stuff that you know we talk to our clients about. But just understand the basics: save, right? Protect. And saving starts with managing cash flow. And then you got to find the money. So we're going through the 5, right? So it's mortgage. Stop paying extra payments. Is taxes. So most people are way overpaying their taxes because they don't really. Most tax people are tax preparers. They're not tax planners. Okay. How people fund qualified plans. So a couple I was talking about, in 20 minutes, I saved them $16,000 a year. Just by showing them how to rearrange and stop overfunding. I said, you can fund it, just fund it. I'll let you fund it to the match. Okay? Because it's you putting all this money in, she's put like 14%, is not in line with the money you need to have available to be a real estate investor. Because she found me because she was following this big real estate investor as my client that promotes me on IG.
Okay.
If y'all look it up, look up Janelle Wilson if you like the Burr method and that kind of stuff. But so I said, well, what are you doing? Like, you know, because I don't tell people what to do. I said, look, what do you want is the first thing. So before I even get to the principles, what do you want and why? Because what you're trying to do dictates the product. See, most financial people lead with a product, but there's no product, no insurance policy, no mutual fund in and of itself is going to take you to glory financially. And everybody's telling you that is lying. So that's my pet peeve with the financial industry. It's about to curse. I can't curse. I'm not going to curse you, sure.
No.
But,
So have you read Profit First or heard of
Yes,
Profit
I teach
First?
that. That's basically what I teach.
Okay, because I literally just finished reading that book.
That's my book. I've been doing that for like 4 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And I haven't monetized my podcast, but now that I've read that book, when I start to monetize it, I'm going to implement that strategy. Because then everything is taken care of. I don't have to worry about nothing.
Yes. Yeah, I
Literally,
do. I teach
taken
that.
care of.
But what I do, adding to that, I teach the same thing on the consumer side. So let's say you don't have Profit First. I teach still you need to. I just do it. I have a software. We teach people how to do it who are not business owners, and then I have a business owner one that's similar.
Okay,
and then
so
I
you have it
connect
for
the
the
dots.
layman person.
Yes.
That just works a job.
Yes.
As well as.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 4 accounts. You need an income account. You need what he calls the profit. I call the wealth capture. You need a fixed account, which can be a debit card or a credit card, as long as you zero the account at the end of the month.
Right.
Okay. And then a fixed bill account. So you sort out your bills. Here's because you have certain bills that are static, like that are the same, both predictable and both timing and amount. You've got variable bills, eating out, gas, shopping. And I think that you don't need to be accountable, and then you've got your pay yourself first. So I tell people, look, if you can save 15-20% of your income and you're paying your bills, I don't care what you do the rest of it. Because I don't believe in living a deferred life.
I never even thought about using that same system for my personal income.
It's so easy. I'll show you later.
But I also feel like that's what I do anyway. Because for me, I'm very good at budgeting. I'm very good at setting things aside. So I always pay myself last is what I notice, which needs to change.
After your bills are paid, you pay.
It's not even that the bills are paid. It's that the money for my bills has been put aside, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So every time I get paid on a weekly basis. So every week I get paid, I put some money towards investing, aside to invest. I put money towards my bills. and then I think that's it. Yeah,
That's
those are the
good. You're
two
doing
things
it.
that I do, and then I have $200 for the week, and that's all I have.
That's
And
that's
anything
it. That's
extra,
it.
I save or I put
I
it
just
towards
like
a trip
to.
or
I like
different
people to
things like
say.
that.
I want people to be intentional about putting themselves ahead of the line. It's just a mindset. It's like
Right.
It's like I teach basically if y'all a great book if you just want to get into the mindset of this is The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yes, it's a very good
Right.
book.
I teach chapter 2. Part of
Okay.
all your insurance is key. Budget thy expenses, make thy goal multiply, make of thy house a profitable investment,
Yes.
guard your trust from loss, ensure future income, increase thy ability to earn. All right? That's it. If you'll just learn that, when I meet young people that graduate from high school or college, I give them a card with money in it because they want money or gift card. But I give them the book. I put it inside the book. Okay,
So
I
they
said
have to
this
find
is
it.
more valuable than the money. Okay,
Right, I
if you
agree.
will.
And it's a very short book.
Yeah.
It's easy to read. I read that book in 2021, and that's when I started being more strategic
Yeah.
with the way that I set my money aside. And it's like the more I do, I feel like I have more money left over every month because my bills keep fluctuating, and most of the time it's less.
Yeah.
And then also, I think I also
You
just
feel
haven't.
good. Like
I
you
do.
talk about the jingle in your
Because
pocket.
I have that extra
Yes.
money at the
Yeah.
end of the month.
Yeah.
Because I also
Your peace of mind
cut
goes up.
down a few expenses, so now it's like that extra money is just there at the end of every month. So now it's like, okay, I wanted to come here.
Right.
That's what paid for this.
Yes. And this is an
Literally.
investment.
Yes.
And so that's what that's for.
Yeah.
Right? So you didn't dip into your emergency fund. You found, okay, because you got to invest in increasing your ability to earn. That's what you have to
I know
invest in
sometimes
that.
I just look at my emergency fund. I'm just like, why are you just sitting here at this point? Let me spend you. But
Or
it's-
invest you. See, because they think they're supposed to invest.
but that's what
All
I
the money's
mean.
just sitting. Let it sit.
That's what I mean, like spend it. I mean, in investing in
Well,
myself.
here's the thing. There's this, I mentioned to him one time, if you have money, opportunities will find you.
And
So
that's
if you have
another reason
capital-
I don't touch it. It's because I know one day someone's going to need an investment into a company that I completely support. I like, okay, I want a piece of the table.
Yeah.
That's
You gotta have the
why-
capital.
That's
See,
another
most of the
reason I
times,
don't touch
we don't
it.
have the money. When
Yeah.
stuff comes up, to be a private lender, to do stuff.
I read that in another, I think it was The Psychology of Money. I think they had something about that. And that's why it's like, no, I'm not touching it. Because when I'm ready to make a big purchase or big investment into myself, my business, or whatever, I have the money there. I don't have to
at
go,
a point, you break
I don't
it down.
have to go, oh man, I need to do this.
Because
this,
I
this,
view that
this.
as an investment. But see, people think, oh, I gotta put $200 a month in Robinhood. I gotta do this. What the hell is that going to do?
Yeah.
And,
See, but that's what I do now in my local stock market in Bermuda. I do $1,600 a month right now, but after this year, I'm cutting it down. So I'm just on let me do this aggressively while I still can. And
well, do
after
you understand
that,
the stocks that you're buying?
yes. Cause
Okay.
So I purchased the insurance company that I pay every week.
Yeah.
I buy them.
Okay.
So
All right.
I earn a piece of my
They're very
insurance
profitable.
company.
I like
My
insurance.
telephone provider, I own a piece of their company. And then there's one other, I don't even know too much about this company, but they started paying dividends now. So I'm like, okay. But
Dividends like rental income and real estate.
Exactly.
Yep.
And all of them pay dividends. So that's why.
Oh, well, yeah.
And that's why.
Now, here's
that's
the thing.
why I'm being
I've got
aggressive
people
with
that
it
do
right
that,
now.
but I teach them to take the dividends out. Don't leave them.
Don't leave 'em?
Stocks don't compound. Okay, the stock market doesn't earn compound interest. It goes up, it goes down. That's
Right.
another misconception, right?
So with one, so generally for right now, when I receive my dividends, I put it back.
right.
I just buy more shares. So that way the next time they pay out, I get more. And with one of them, I'm in the drip program. So each time I buy, every time they pay out, my account grows. So
Right.
therefore I get more each time. But that, like I said, I'm only going to keep doing that for so long. So I said 10 years. I'm 3 years in. So for 3 years, I'm just going to keep reinvesting my dividends from that. But I also still invest in myself in other ways. So it's not like I'm doing one and not doing the other.
Right.
I'm doing both.
Yeah, you do both. And it's like, so the question is, like I said, I don't tell people what to become. I want to know what they want, right? So I'll ask people, and if we were having this conversation, it's not like short-term goals, like, you
Yeah.
know. So if we're having this conversation 24 to 36 months from now, what has to happen professionally, financially, personally, in order for you to be happy with your progress? And I want people to work backwards, because what I want to do is have 3-year.
I like that.
I want to have 3-year goal. I want X amount in savings. I want X amount of cash flow in real estate. I want whatever. Then I want them to, okay, let's have a 1-year target and 90-day objectives. That way it's not like this
big thing that
hairy, because you need to be specific, okay? I'm not letting you off the hook with this wishy-washy goal. I mean,
I would say
I'm the coach. I'm Coach Curtis. So.
I would say for myself, 3 years from now, I don't want to have to work. I want to work because I want to work.
Okay. So you know what you need to earn a month.
I would.
You don't have to say it, but yeah,
okay.
but that's the thing. You know what your expenses are, right?
Yeah.
So now, are you buying assets that can go to work instead of you?
No.
Because see, you want to be financially free. What you're talking about is financial freedom. Well, financial freedom is a capability.
Yeah.
Okay. People talk about retirement. I could care less about retirement. Retirement is an agricultural term that means to withdraw or to put out of use. I ask people, is that what you want? Right? You want to be financially free, right? So, but that means you've got to set your saving to buy assets, right? What are the 4 asset classes? Business, real estate, paper, to a lesser extent commodities, unless you're like a credit investor. But you have to focus on learning how to buy. I got clients that own ATM machines. I've got clients that have a young lady, she has 3 or 4, not Turo, she has a hire car. She's got 2 or 3 short-term rentals. She got 3 long-term rentals, right?
Okay.
So it's like whatever you like, what interests you. It could be course creation. It could be, as we're learning here, how to monetize a show, whatever.
Right. So for me, right now, I would say my podcast will be my asset. And that's what will get me to working when I please, which will be traveling the world and speaking to melanated individuals. And that'll be me. The work is me sitting down and having a conversation, but I'm also living my life and traveling to all these different countries.
That's active income, but then you have to buy. So the business is an asset, but you got to take your earned income and buy assets that throw off passive income.
So for me, that would be real estate.
Right.
I want to get into real estate.
So you have to invest in learning how to do real estate. There's another way. There's like I've got people that buy turnkeys. For example, I got a client in Philly. I introduced this guy. She bought 3 in Birmingham. They were already fixed, flipped, and tenanted, and she bought them. And every month on the 10th, she gets a check.
Yeah.
Already got property management in place. And
that's the way
that really appeals to my lazy person. I'm hands off. My unique ability is my business.
But I wouldn't mind starting off with figuring it out. But I also, at the end, I'm not trying to do all the work.
I think that you should know what's going on. Again,
right,
becoming.
Because then you know what to expect. You know when you're either being lowballed or the overpriced and different things like that. That way you know what you're getting into as well.
Yeah, I believe in investing in mentorship. Yes, that's the thing. So that's your fastest path to cash, I believe, is your business. Okay? And then what do you do with the profits? You you save, and then you use the profits to either expand your business or invest in other markets. I believe in practicing what I call intentional congruence. Right, congruence.
Okay.
Like, so I do different stuff, but I do one thing. I just have different levels of different ways to serve the same client.
Right.
Okay, and then just stuff outside the business. We have real estate. We're probably going to put a car. My daughter's going to move to New York, so she doesn't need her car. So we're going to experiment putting a hire car.
Okay.
And I got a friend of mine. She put one on there. She's making $750 a month. That's more than rental property. I'm like,
exactly.
I like, with a car, with an asset I already own.
Right.
And, so that kind of stuff. So you just, whatever you tickles your fancy, I tell people is that you're going to pay attention to, that interests you, then that's what you do. So it's not, there's no one way to win. As long as what people got to realize, where does money come from? Money is a result, right, of creating value in the marketplace, right? And so what people focus on, first you got to get their headspace clear about money, and money's evil and profits are bad, all this socialist nonsense. You have to, don't get me started. But profit's good because that means you're serving people. Profits, and so what happens is, because it's an exchange, you're exchanging your dollar, they're exchanging their dollar for the service you provided with them. So they're happy, you're happy. That's what capitalism is all about. And that's what our melanated friends got to understand is that capitalism is the way. Yeah. You ever watch The Mandalorian? This is the way. That is the way, okay? And because that is what's brought in more people out of poverty. You know, my dad taught me never making money work for somebody else. So I never got that go get a good job talk. When I went to college, I thought you majored in business to go into business. It didn't even occur to me to get a job, you know? Once I realized, you know, the NBA was not looking for 5'11" shooting guards. I got my insurance license in college, you know? So I was like, okay, well, I'm not that good.
That's understandable.
It's a serious blow to my ego.
All right. So is there anything that we haven't discussed that you'd like to talk about?
Not really. I think that one thing I would say is you've got to invest in personal development. I'm a big where I'm at. I'm right now. I'm one of the top. Me with like a virtual assistant. I'm the number 15th in production. I'm in primarily insurance industry. I'm one of the top insurance agents in the country. Okay. But it was horrible. Okay, and you know, at 20, by nature, believe it or not, I'm introverted. And so I'm a big believer in personal development. So we make our clients, I said, look, you got to read a book a month on money. At least, you know, I want them to read 2 books, right? A book on money, one on skills, you know, never split the difference, how to win friends and influence people, you know, skills are what makes money. So I'll leave y'all with this. I says, look, the main thing is understanding your number one asset is you, right? And so investing in you means you got to invest in your mindset, what you watch, what you read, who you listen to, who you hang around, your skill set. What do you know that people will pay you for those skills? You know, when you trade, you consider money. If you don't make money, or if you make minimum wage, it ain't the government's fault. You don't know how to do anything worth people giving you any damn money for, right? So you got to develop your skills. Yes. That's the problem. It's your problem. Yes. Okay, and your network. Who do you know? But more importantly, who knows you? And so if you'll work on that every day, every year, if you read a book a month, 8, 10, 12, 15 pages a day, by this time next year, you'll be a completely different person.
Exactly.
And then the money, because when you're competent, you'll be confident. And when you're confident, you'll make money.
Very true.
That's the order. There's no shortcut.
Most definitely. So what would be top 5 books on money for our listeners to read?
Become Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. Book by my mentor that I'm throwing in there because I teach this strategy. It's called Principles-Based Planning by Kyle Christensen, if you really want to understand how money works. And then the Rich Dad, especially the first 4, Rich Man Babylon. And then the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just to change your mindset about money, cash flow quadrants. Rich Dad's, the first early books, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing and Who Took My Money, where you start understanding velocity of money versus buy and hold. And I start people with what's the other book called? It's called the Lifestyle Investor. It's a new book. And we start to really understand velocity and cash flow and, you know, building financial freedom. And those, if y'all can just get and see, if you go on Amazon, once you start buying them,
it's going to suggest them.
It's going to, here, those who read this, I love Amazon because I've got so many little obscure books I wouldn't have saw if I had just gone to the bookstore. You know, I love going to bookstores. Just for relaxation, get a cup of coffee and walk around. I'm so bad they're out of business. I had 3 stores before they closed down within 4 miles of my house. 2 Barnes and Noble and 2 Borders.
Oh, no.
And then I would go down to the old used bookstores. And I remember my daughter was like, I don't know, 3. I would take her in the carriage, we walk down in South Philly and go to this bookstore, and I would just come back with like a stack full of books, get a coffee. Which is so relaxing. See, I love books.
Reading is very relaxing.
Yeah.
And what would you say top 5 books for skills?
Never Split the Difference, which is a book on negotiation.
Okay.
I like Boss Moves by Myron Golden, which is on Boss. See my shirt. Is business optimization success secrets.
Okay.
So on skills, if you want to be a good entrepreneur, expert secrets. If you want to be an expert, and if let's say you know how to do something, but you need to get your message out to monetize it. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yep, that's a really good one.
I think you should read that every year. many is that?
I think that was 3.
Skills. What is that book? High Trust Selling by Todd Duncan.
Okay.
You got to sell. The number one skills in business are marketing, magnetic marketing by Dan Kennedy. Marketing is the keys to the kingdom.
Yes.
Okay. Marketing, and then selling, which is helping people make a future decision that's good for them. It's not talking people into stuff. Okay.
Right.
But so when you do lead generation, you got to now be able to persuade them through educational-based marketing to buy your stuff so you can make a transaction.
Right.
You know, and so those skills go. So if you're like, my business blew up when I got serious about marketing, and took a little minute to kick in. Started to kick in about 6 or 7 years ago, and as I've gotten better, I've grown my income every year. As I've gotten better, because I realize if you're in business, guys, you're listening to this, you're in the market. I don't care what business you think you're in. You're in the marketing business.
Yeah.
You're pastor of a church. You're in the marketing business.
Yeah.
And so once you do that, then you'll lose that angst eventually. That you have, like in business, you always feel like you're hunted by a wolf you can't see, right? There's always, is the IRS going to call me? Is somebody going to fall on the property? Is this and that? It's all that stuff that regular people don't even understand the pressure that business people have. And which is all right, but it's like, so if you're in business, listeners, you need to get around other business friends.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
And then even if you're trying to do that, if you aspire to do that, you got to get around people that will support what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so again, the power of association. So I'm going blank. I have a whole big bookshelf on my. If you look at my show, you see the background. I've read darn every book on the thing, and now I'm going blank as we talk.
It's okay. You definitely answered the questions. Do you have any questions for me before I do my closing questions?
So, your listeners already know this, but so how are you not still in Bermuda?
No, I am still in Bermuda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Bermuda, actually. I need to go back down there. Pink sand and the whole thing.
Yes, do come back.
I thought you were working up here. So
No. I just came
for the conference.
For the conference.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to see your podcast grow.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of some people I knew down there. Now but it's been. No, I was a sophomore in college. I mean, I'm old. I'm a long time. It was a long time ago.
That's fine. So what advice would you give to our listeners on entrepreneurship?
I think that you've got to give your efforts time to compound. Most people give up too soon. And I think that you have to learn. You have to change your mindset. So most people are work processors. We're taught to be work. You go to work, you do the work, you get paid, you get a check, right? When you go into entrepreneurship, you've got to learn how to move into what we call the performance economy. So when you're in the performance economy, you've got to learn to work without a net. You've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's not this catch can thing, but there's a rhythm to your business to generate cash flow, and you've got to do the right things at the right time because you have more. It's kind of like an entertainer. You have more income events than a regular check. You'll do good big sales, like the entertainer will go and they rest all day long. Like I play basketball, and then they play the game. They perform, and they still have a different. Or entertainers, the same thing. They go on stage and they do their thing, and then they're off. And they might make a movie for $20 million, and they might be off for 3 months. That kind of stuff. So so as an entrepreneur, you've got to work. This is where the marketing comes in to make sure you can get regular. You got to manage your cash flow. You got to have regular intervals. So you got to manage your cash flow. You got to save money. Don't spend every money that comes in. You've got to understand it takes 2 to 5 years, at least 2 years to build a business. And you've got to make sure your spouse is on board, or it ain't gonna work. If you got a significant other, or if you're married, you've got to get them on board. And then you got to make money. You got to do what you say you're going to do. Because they look at you sideways like, oh, baby, we're going to be rich. I was like, okay. And then, wait, where's the check?
Exactly, right?
So you got to make it happen. You got to, my wife, I spend money on these things, but she sees every time I go on a trip, my income goes up. So I've proven that, I'm bankable.
Okay. And what advice would you give to 25-year-old you doing what you're doing now?
Learn marketing. Stop chasing people around. I didn't know anything about target marketing and, targeting my who and getting confident. At 25, I'd have told myself that I'd have learned faster. I learned about marketing faster. I realized it's not hard to make $100,000, $200,000 a year, and I'd have got it done faster, and I could have enjoyed it longer. Though if I was making that kind of money at 25, I'd have been dangerous. I don't know. That might have not have been a good thing.
Everything happens for a reason.
Right. So I was like, okay, now you're mature, you're married now. All right, God's like, okay, all right, now you can have some money because you might have been wilding out.
And where do you see yourself and your business in 5 years' time?
5 years, I expect our business to make $10 to $15 million a year.
Okay. And that's the insurance or the financial?
Probably a combination. I have a friend of mine I'm kind of studying. He's financial education business made $15 million, and his insurance business made $5 million.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm as good as them. I know how to do what they know how to do. I just got to figure all this stuff out, with the show and all that kind of stuff. So I'm always because I'm doing better than most, but I hang around people that are doing really well, and I don't think I'm doing anything, and I'm competitive like that.
Right.
Whereas it's fun to be in a business where you can play the business, right?
Yeah. And
I always tell people compete but don't compare. But I see that I'm working at working less. So there's a great book I'm reading for a third time called 10X is easier than 2X. So I'm trying to, what I want to do is be managing everything but working with very few clients. I want to be promoting the content and teaching, doing group sessions and just building a business that works. I'm a really good beach bum and I like to travel. But I need to, I'm setting up our business to where I can travel and my income don't drop.
You will come to Bermuda shortly. So that's something that I'm starting to do is local meetups. So it's literally just started last month. I will be doing it on a monthly basis. I will be doing it on a monthly basis. And I want to get it to the point where I can bring in people who are expertise at something, and they can come and teach Bermudians this information.
I'm there.
Because
I love Bermuda.
I feel like that's what my island is lacking, in the aspect of it's not available for people that look like them. Or it's not made available until it's too late, or you hear about it after the fact. You don't know.
Because you have insurance companies.
Yes.
Banking. The stuff is there, so the components are there.
But they're just not giving us the information.
Or taught. Yeah.
So that's something that I will be implementing. So maybe next year.
We've talked about that because I don't know that I can do anything with people, but I can teach it.
You can teach it, yeah. That's all it needs. Or create like a panel of people, so I can have you come in internationally and have someone from the insurance company or someone from the bank come and sit alongside you, and you can compare it because it is going to be different.
Right.
To apply to Bermuda, it will be different. But yeah, that's definitely something.
But the products are there, and it's just what you got to do when in financial products. You can't use them the way they're sold. You have to learn how to engineer them to benefit you. And that's where the expertise comes in.
Okay. So
that's why I'm the man. No, just kidding.
All right. That's the last one. What will you say to your future self 5 years from now? So I'm gonna send you this clip of what you say in 5 years.
Curtis, you're okay. You're doing okay, but you can still do better.
That's
because I'm never satisfied. Can you do better? Can you? You can't rest on your laurels because you only goes downhill. So, I will still, because in this business, it's like the older I get, the better I get. Because I know more, I have more experience. I've been through economic cycles. There's nothing new under the sun, and you really. Here's the other thing I would tell myself. I would start to study economics earlier. Economics. There's a great book. Came out in like 1944. What's it called? The 1 minute. Oh, what is it called? It's by Economics in One Lesson.
Okay.
And it's brilliant. It's like, I think a high school, it should be mandatory reading in high school, and it teaches Austrian economics, and then you could really make heads or tails of what you see going on in the world right now, you would understand it and not the lies and the propaganda that you're being taught on the news, because you really understand why most of the policies are being trotted out there have never worked in the history of mankind. But people don't know. All they know is they know in school, and you have to be able to have engaged in critical thinking. And so I wish I'd have known that kind of stuff earlier, because it helps me as an advisor to understand economics, because I teach people to think from a macro standpoint. So if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. Most people don't know what's going on. They're distracted by what I call bread and circuses.
Bread and what?
Bread and circuses. You ever see Gladiator? Rome had welfare, right? So I'm a history nut, right? So so if you watch Gladiator and they're throwing breads into the arena, so what happens is Rome is a mob. People are distracted by bread and circuses, meaning Super Bowl, Dancing with the Stars, all this stuff that distract them from people taking money out of your back pocket, or turning the economy around, or all the stuff that's going on, and you're so distracted by dumb stuff that you don't see it. And they're taking your rights away from right in front of you. Especially melanated people, because we're sometimes we think too short term. We don't know history. We don't know we think somebody's not letting us do stuff. Somebody's keeping you down, and it's none of that. I wake up in the morning, ain't nothing Curtis can't do because he's black.
I agree with that.
And
I tell myself all the time, you're the only person standing in your way. It's not anyone else. You are your own enemy, literally, if you want to be.
And you have to be your own. I used to think white people wouldn't work with me, and that was my thing. Because I don't know, for whatever reason, but I've got a lot of clients that, because I tell people, don't work because I'm black, work with me because I'm good
at what you do,
and I can bring value to your life, and that's what they see. Curtis is really good. Curtis knows some stuff, and I like him. He's honest, and I'm very educational in my approach, and they always feel like I'm not selling them stuff. I'm trying to empower them to think. I tell people, look, it's your money, it ain't my money.
Yeah, that's true.
It can't be more important to me than it is to you. So if I give you homework, I'm going to give you homework because it's your money, right? And I want to have a conversation. So my goal is I'm trying to help people move from what I call economic childhood, where you're dependent on bureaucracies, on governmental agencies, on other people to invest your money, to economic adulthood, where you're more self-sufficient, you live in a performance economy, you know how to research your own investments. Now you're empowered. See, so around the world, melanated people, we have to be empowered. And that starts with education. It starts with, I have a right to be here. And my father-in-law used to say, you have to invite yourself to the party. Most times when I go places, I went to an economic forum in New York, only black guy there. Most of these big insurance conferences I go to, only black guy there. Because a lot of times you got to spend money to get to good stuff.
To get there,
to get there, but to get into conference might be $2,500, $10,000, and you got to get there, and then it's boring, and a lot of people don't want to go where they're might be in a minority. I'm used to it. It's not even a thing, because I need to go where the information is, because I have to bring the information back to my people.
Exactly. You have to do what you got to do.
So I bring it back. That's my job. I'm bringing it back to you, and I got to translate it in the brother language. No, just kidding. So, I'm very silly, guys. So if y'all.
It's all good. It's all good. Any closing words?
No. Listen. So check out the Practical Wealth Show. I have what is it? I have a report called I'm big on liquidity. So if you will text "Be the Bank," all one word, all caps, to 55444. It says "Be the Bank" to 55444. I'll send you our free report entitled "The Value of Liquidity."
Okay. All right. Thank you, Curtis, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
For being very last minute with this, because I know I just posted it in the app. But thank you for coming through and being a part of the podcast and meeting you at the podcast summit.
Yeah, I'm this is fun. I appreciate you having me on.
Me
Hope
too.
I help somebody.